Hi my dear students, I welcome you all for the video class. Today I am going to revise Geography chapter 6, Major Landforms of the Earth. In the previous chapter, we have discussed about the lithosphere. What is meant by lithosphere, children? Yes, it is a solid uppermost layer of the earth, isn't it? Yes. If you see the earth from the space, its surface looks like plains, okay? But in reality, the earth has many ups and downs. These variations on the land surface are known as relief features or landforms of the earth. Okay children, what is meant by relief features or landforms of the earth? The earth has many ups and downs. Clear? These variations on the land surface are known as relief features or landforms of the earth. Clear? There are a variety of landforms on the earth's surface. What are the children? Yes, the landforms which include plains, plateaus, mountains, hills, valleys and so many things. Isn't it? Yes. What are considered as the landforms? Landforms which includes plains, plateaus, mountains, hills, valleys and so many things. Okay. These land features appear to be permanent, but in actual they are continuously undergoing process. The land features appears to be permanent, but in actual times they are continuously undergoing changes. Clear? These landforms are the result of two main processes. What are the children? Yes, one is internal process, another one is external process. Clear? The landforms are the result of two processes. One is internal process, another one is external process. Clear? These processes are responsible for the changes occurs within the landforms. Clear? Some of these changes occur suddenly while some are gradual. Okay children, what is mean by internal process and external process? Yes, the ground on which we stand is slowly moving. Within the earth, a continuous movement is taking place, isn't it? Volcanic activities and earthquakes are the result of what? Internal process. Clear? They originate inside the earth and the result in the sudden formation of major landscapes like mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys, continents, hills and so many things. Okay, these are considered as the internal process. Okay, what is mean by external process? The external process works on the earth's surface. Clear? They modify these landscapes. The external forces are directly or indirectly affected by the sun's energy. The whole process of the modification of the landforms by the external forces is known as what, children? Yes, gradation. What does mean by gradation? The whole process of the modification of the landforms by the external forces is known as gradation. Okay, what does mean by internal process? The process which will take inside within the earth a continuous movement is taking place. Give some example for that. Volcanic activities and earthquakes are the result of what? Internal process. Clear? You clear about that, children? Yes. Next one is external process. What does mean by external process? The external process works on the earth's surface and they modify these landscapes. That is called as what? That is called as external process. Clear? Okay. What is mean by gradation once again? The process of the modification of the landforms by the external forces is known as gradation. Okay. It consists of two processes mainly. What are they, children? One is degradation, another one is aggradation. Clear? Okay. What does mean by degradation? In degradation, the elevated landforms of the earth are lowered down by various agents. Okay, what are the various agents? Wind, rivers, glaciers, ocean current, and so many things. Okay. In degradation, what does mean by degradation? In degradation, the elevated landforms of the earth are lowered down by various agents. That is wind, rivers, glaciers, ocean current, and so many things. This process is known as what? Erosion. Clear? While in aggradation, the depression of the earth's surface is filled up. What does mean by aggradation? In aggradation, the depression of the earth's surface is filled up. It is known as what? Deposition. Do you know the difference between the deposition and erosion, children? Okay. Mainly, the major landforms of the earth can be broadly classified into or divided into three parts. What are they, children? Already you may know that, no? What are they? Mountains, plains, and plateaus. Okay, children. At first, we'll discuss about mountains. Mountains are the natural elevation of the earth's surface. Clear, children? What does mean by mountains? Mountains are the natural elevation of the earth's surface. In other words, highly elevated lands which rise above the surrounding regions are known as what? Mountains. Once again, I'll repeat, children. What does mean by mountains? Mountains are the natural elevation of the earth's surface, are highly elevated lands which rise above the surrounding regions are known as mountains. Mountains are formed by the external forces or internal forces, children? Mountains are formed by the internal forces. Clear? Mountains have broad base and conical top. Clear? On the mountains, temperature remain less as compared to the plain areas. Then one main important thing is some mountains are higher than clouds. Such mountains has very cold climate. These mountains have large rivers of ice that are also known as what? Yes, of course, glaciers. Clear? The glaciers are the main source of water for the what? Rivers. Once again, I'll repeat the points. What does mean by glaciers? These mountains, some mountains have large rivers of ice that are called as what? Glaciers. Glaciers are the main source of water for the what? Rivers. Clear? Give some example rivers. Give some example important glaciers. Yes, Gangotri, Yamunotri, these are the important glaciers of the Himalayan mountains. Clear? Okay, children, what does mean by mountain range? Mountains have great heights with sharp sloping features through which the rivers flow downwards. Generally, these mountains are found in the continuous chain. That chain is known as what? Mountain range. Once again, I'll repeat. It is a system of mountain and hills having several ridges, peaks, and summits and valleys. That is called as mountain range. Okay, mountain ridge means what, children? It is a system of long, narrow, high hills. That is called as a ridge, mountain ridge. Mountain range is different from mountain ridge. Mountain ridge is nothing but it is a system of long, narrow and high hills. But in mountain range, it is a system of mountains and hills having several ridges, peaks, summits and valleys. Okay. Mountain chain means what, children? It consists of different parallel, long and narrow mountains of different time periods. That is called as mountain chain. It consists of different parallel, long and narrow mountains of different time periods. Clear? That is called as mountain chain. Okay children, give some example for the mountain ranges. Yes, the Himalayas in Asia, then the Alps in Europe and the Andes in South America. These are some examples of mountain ranges. Clear children? Okay. Now you have to tell different types of mountains. How the mountains will be classified into different types. On the basis of what? Types of mountains on the basis of their shape, size and height. The mountains may be classified into different types. What are the different types of mountains? Yes, fold mountains, then block mountains, volcanic mountains, then residual mountains. Clear? We have 4 different types of mountains based on their shape, size and height. The mountains may be classified. Okay students, first we'll discuss about fold mountains. What is mean by fold mountains? These mountains are formed when the earth crust bends due to the earth movements. What is mean by fold mountains children? These mountains are formed when the earth crust bends due to the earth's movement. Clear? The interior movements cause folds on the earth's surface. It results into several ups and downs. You clear about that children? Once again I'll repeat the fold mountains. The mountains are formed when the earth crust bends due to the earth movements. Clear? The interior movement causes folds on the earth's surface. It results into several ups and downs. Clear? Then the upraised part of the fold is known as what? Yes, anticline. The upraised part of the fold is known as what? Anticline. While the downward fold is called what? Syncline. Clear children? Fold mountains usually consist of parallel ranges. Once again I'll repeat. Fold mountains usually consist of parallel ranges. Most of the mountains of the earth are fold mountains only. These mountains are characterized by rugged relief and high conical peaks. Clear? All the fold mountains are of different ages. On the basis of the age, they are known as young fold and old fold mountains. On the basis of the age, they are called as young fold and old fold mountains. Okay, give some example for young fold mountains. Himalayas, Alps, Andes, Rockies are the young fold mountains or the examples of young fold mountains. Okay, give some example for old fold mountains children. Yes. I have to tell one thing. Young fold mountains have high and pointed peaks. Clear? Young fold mountains have high and pointed peaks. But in old fold mountains have rounded features with low height. Give some example for old fold mountains children. Yes, Great Dividing Range in Australia, then Pennines in Europe, then Ural Mountains in Russia, and so many. These are some of the examples of old fold mountains. Clear? Okay children, we'll move on to next one. Next one is block mountains. Okay, what is mean by block mountains? Yes, these mountains were formed when a landmass was pushed up between parallel faults in the earth crust or by sinking the land around them. Clear children? What is mean by block mountains once again? These mountains were formed when a landmass was pushed up between parallel faults in the earth crust or by sinking of the land around them. Clear, children? Then what is meant by horst and graben, children? Yes, the uplifted part of the landform is known as what? Horst, while the lowered landforms are known as what? Graben. Clear, children? What is meant by horst and what is meant by graben? Once again, the uplifted part of the landform is known as horst, while the lowered landforms are termed as graben. Clear? These mountains were formed when when landmass was pushed up between the parallel faults. Clear, children? In the earth crust or by sinking the landforms. Are you clear with this? Okay, next we'll move on to volcanic mountains. In these mountains are made up of the accumulation of volcanic materials ejected from the earth's interior. Clear, children? Mainly the volcanic mountains are made up of the accumulation of volcanic material ejected from the earth's interior. Clear? That is called as volcanic mountains. They have comparatively gentle slope. Give some example for volcanic mountains, children, as Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, then Mount Fujiyama in Japan, and these are some of the examples of volcanic mountains. Once again, I'll repeat, children, what is meant by volcanic mountains? These mountains are made up of the accumulation of volcanic materials ejected from the earth interior. Clear, children? That is called as volcanic mountains. Next we'll discuss about the residual mountains. These mountains are formed out of the existing mountains. Example, fold mountains, block mountains, or volcanic mountains. Clear, children? These which mountain, children? Residual mountains are formed out from the existing mountains. What are the existing mountains? Fold, block, or volcanic mountains. Okay. Then high mountains are veered away by the agents of denudation. That is, what are they? Wind, water, glaciers, waves, and so many things. Okay. The remaining part of these mountains is known as what? Residual mountains. Clear? Okay, give some example for residual mountains. Yes, Catskill Mountains in New York, then Nilgiris and Rajmahal Hills of India. Clear? Then Highlands of Scotland. These are the some examples of residual mountains. Clear? Okay, children. Next, we'll discuss about the uses or advantages of mountains. What are the uses, children? First, mountains provide many building materials. What are they? Yes, granite, marble, limestone. Then it have many precious stones like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and opals are also found in the mountains. Clear, children? Then mountains are the rich sources of water. Mainly the mountain glaciers are the source of what? Water for any rivers. Okay, these perennial rivers provide water for inland irrigation, at the same time hydroelectricity and irrigation also. Clear, children? Children, are you understand what I am telling? Mountains are the rich sources of water. Mainly the mountain glaciers are the sources of water of many rivers. Okay. These perennial rivers mainly provides water for inland irrigation or inland navigation, then hydroelectricity also. Then they provide grassland for cattle grazing. Then the mountains provide a variety of flora and fauna. Then mountains provides a shelter for many wild animals. Then mountains are the rich source of timber and other products like resins, gum and so many things. Clear children? Mountains mainly provide the tourist sites. Tourists visit the mountains for their scenic beauty also. Then mountains are also popular for several types of sports like river rafting, paragliding, hand gliding and so many things. Okay, these are the main uses or advantages of mountains. Clear children? Okay, next we'll discuss about plateaus. Okay students, what is mean by plateaus? Yes, plateaus are the highlands with a broad and more or less flat surface. Clear? Plateaus are the highlands with a broad and more or less flat surface. Due to the flat topped surface, these landforms are known as what? Yes, of course, stable land. Clear? Already you know that, no? Plateaus are the highlands with the broad and more or less flat surface. Due to the flat topped surface, these landforms are known as stable land. Clear? Their height varies from a few hundred meters to 1000 meters. Clear? Then the plateaus have generally steep slopes on both the sides. But a few plateaus have steep slopes on one side and gentle slope on the other side. Okay, give some example for the children. Yes, the Deccan Plateau has both the gentle and steep slopes. Clear? Mainly the plateaus occupy 1/3 of the Earth's surface. Then the plateaus are found in every continent. Clear children? Then one main thing is like mountains, plateaus may also be young or old. Okay, give some example for old plateaus children. Yes, the Deccan Plateau in India, then the East African plateaus in Kenya, then the Western Plateau of Australia. These are the examples of old plateaus or new plateaus. Yes, old plateaus. Okay children, we have different types of plateaus, isn't it? Okay, what are the different types of plateaus children? Yes, 3 different types. One is intermontane plateaus, then another one is Piedmont plateaus, another one is continental plateaus. Clear children? We have 3 different types of plateaus. Okay, what does mean by intermontane plateaus children? Yes, these plateaus are partly or completely surrounded by mountains. Clear? What does mean by intermontane plateaus? These type of plateaus are partially or completely surrounded by the mountains. Clear? Okay children, which plateau is the highest plateau in the world? Yes, the Tibet Plateau is the highest plateau in the world. Then it is also known as what? Roof of the world. Do you know the children? Yes. Okay. Next one is Piedmont Plateau. What does mean by Piedmont Plateaus children? These plateaus are formed at the foothills zone of huge mountains. Are you understand what I am telling? Piedmont Plateaus is nothing but formed at the foothill zone of huge mountains. Mainly these plateaus lie between the mountain ranges on one side and sea plains on the other side. Now you understand? The plateau lie between the mountain ranges on one side and the other side it may be either a sea or plains. Clear children? That is called as Piedmont Plateaus. Next one is continental plateaus. What does mean by continental plateaus children? Yes, these plateaus rise abruptly from the lowlands or the sea. Okay, are you understand what it means? These plateaus rise abruptly from the lowlands or the sea. Mainly Deccan Plateau, then Chota Nagpur Plateau in India, then Western Plateau in Australia, then East African Plateau and so many. These are the main examples of continental plateaus of the world. Okay, are you clear with it? Okay, give some advantages or usefulness of plateaus, children. Yes, plateaus are rich in mineral deposits, isn't it? Many of the mining areas in the world are located in the plateau areas. Then the plateaus are also a huge source of gold and diamond. Then the Deccan Plateaus are formed by the volcanic activities. Mainly they provide igneous rocks which is the main source of what? Yes, black soil. Black soil is used for what, children? Black soil is mainly used for cotton cultivation. And main thing was plateaus can be developed as places of tourist destinations. Give some example for that as coastal areas of Deccan Plateaus. Coastal areas of Deccan Plateaus is considered as a tourist destinations. Okay, then plateaus are rich in coal, manganese, iron, limestones, and so many. Give some example for that. Yes. Huge reserves of minerals of these minerals are found in Chota Nagpur Plateau in India. Clear, children? Okay, children, next we'll discuss about plains. Okay, children, what is mean by plains? Yes, plains are the low-lying flat stretches of land. Plains are what? Low-lying flat stretches of land. Generally, they are not more than 200 meters above the mean sea level. Clear, children? Plains are the low-lying flat stretches of land. Generally, they are not more than 200 meters above the mean sea level. The plains are usually formed by the deposition of silt and sediments brought by the rivers and their tributaries. Clear, children? Or you understand? The plains are mainly formed by the deposition of silt and sediments brought by the rivers and their tributaries. Clear? Then these plains can be extremely flat or slightly rolling. Clear? The plains can be extremely flat or slightly rolling. Most of the plains are very fertile and useful of agricultural activities. Okay. Then northern plains of India, then Nile Valley plain in Africa, then prairies plains in North America are formed by what? Rivers. Clear? Okay. We have different types of plains also, isn't it? Okay. What are the different types of plains? Yes. Alluvial plains, then delta plains. Another one is coastal plains. Clear, children? What are the three different types of plains, children? Yes, alluvial plains, then delta plains, another one is coastal plains. Clear? Okay, what is mean by alluvial plains? Yes, these plains are made up of the sediments carried by the rivers. Ganga Brahmaputra plain is a good example of alluvial plains. Clear, children? Alluvial plains are made up of the sediments which are carried by the rivers. Clear? Give some example for that. Ganga Brahmaputra plain is a good example of the alluvial plains. Clear, children? Next one is delta plain. What is mean by delta plain, children? Yes, the delta plains are formed at the mouth of the river by its distributaries. Clear, children? Or you understand? Once again I'll repeat. These plains, which plains? Delta plains are formed at the mouth of the river by its distributaries. Clear? Okay, give some example for that. Yes, the Lombardy plains in Italy, which was formed by the river Po and its distributaries. Clear, children? These about delta plains. Okay, next we'll discuss about coastal plains. What is mean by coastal plains, children? Yes, these plains have low elevation rising gently from the shore. Clear? These plains have low elevations rising gently from the shore. Most of these plains have caused by the upliftment of the continental shelf. Or you understand, most of these plains are caused by the upliftment of the continental shelf. Eastern and western coastal plains of India are the good examples of what? Plains. Clear, children? Once again I'll repeat. We have 3 different types of plains. Then 3 different types of plateaus. Then 4 different types of mountains. What are the 4 different types of mountains? Fold mountains, block mountains, volcanic mountains, then residual mountains. Clear, children? Then what we discussed? We discussed about the plateaus. We have 3 different types of plateaus. One is intermontane plateaus, another one is Piedmont plateaus, another one is continental plateaus. Clear? Then what we discussed? We discussed about the plains. In that we have 3 different types. What are they? Alluvial plains, then delta plains, another one is coastal plains. Clear, children? Okay. What are the main advantages or uses of plains, children? Yes. Mainly plains provides fertile soils, therefore they are useful for agricultural activities. Isn't it? Yes. Plains provides what? Fertile soil, therefore they are using agricultural activities. Then their climate is suitable for human settlements. Then the climate is suitable for human settlements. Clear, children? The plains are flat that makes the construction of transport network easy. Thus the plain areas have dense network of roadways and railways. Then there are greater facilities for trade and manufacturing. So most of the world's great cities are situated on plains. Clear, children? Then rivers flowing across the plains are useful for what? As navigation and irrigation. Once again I'll repeat the uses or advantages of plains, children. First, plains provide fertile soils, therefore they are useful for agricultural activities. Then their climate is suitable for human settlements. Then the climate is suitable for human settlements. Clear? Then the coastal plains have seaports, harbors, lakes and lagoons. Then these areas have fertile deltas which are mainly used for what? Yes, cultivation. Clear, children? Then the plains are flat that makes the construction of transport network easy. If the plains are flat means the transport network, the construction of the transport network was very easy. Clear? The plain areas have dense network of roads and railways. Then the plains provide more flat land that is suitable for building houses and for cultivations also. Clear, children? Or you understand what I am telling? Then the plains provides above favorable conditions for the human settlements. These are very thickly populated regions of the world. Clear, children? Okay, children, I will discuss about the limitations of the mountains, plateaus and the plains. Okay? Okay, children. At first, we will discuss about the limitations of mountains. Yes, they lack in fertile soil. Then the rugged mountainous terrain makes transportation and physical communication difficult. Okay. Then the mountainous area are not much favorable for cultivation due to what? Steep slopes. Less availability of land and cold climate also. Clear, children? Children, are you understand what are the limitations of mountains? They lack in fertile soil. The rugged mountains, mountainous terrains makes transportation and physical communication difficult. Then mountainous areas are not much favorable for cultivation due to what? Due to steep slopes less availability of land and cold climate. Clear, children? Due to the above limitations, the mountains are thinly populated. Mountains are thinly populated. Barely 12% population of the world is living in the mountainous areas. Clear, children? Or you understand how much percentage? 12 percentage. 12% population of the world is living in the mountainous areas. Clear? Then we'll discuss about the limitations of the plateaus. Okay, children, what does mean by limitations of plateaus? Some of the plateaus in the world are composed of hard rocks. Isn't it, children? Yes, of course. Some of the plateaus in the world are composed of hard rocks, thus less favorable for human settlements than the plain areas. Some of the plateaus in the world are composed of which rocks, children? Either hard rocks or soft rocks? Hard rocks. Clear? Thus less favorable for human settlements than the plain areas. Clear, children? Next, farming activities on the plateaus which depends on what? Yes, depends on the rainfall. Farming activities on the on the plateaus mainly depends on the rainfall. Clear, children? If there is a lack of rainfall means what it happens? Yes, they are not suitable for human settlements. These are the limitations of what? Limitations of the plateaus. Clear, children? Are you clear with that? Next, we will discuss about the limitations of the plains. What it means, the limitation of plains, children? Although the plains are fertile and useful for human settlements, but some plains in the world are too dry, too wet, or too cold that are not suitable for a large number of peoples. Okay, give some example for that. Yes, the plain areas of Rajasthan, then Sahara Desert, Atacama Desert are not suitable for what? For human settlements. Clear, children? Next, we will discuss the effects of increasing population on landforms. Various types of landforms are found on the earth's surface, isn't it, children? Yes, they play a very significant role in human life. Man is using the landforms to meet his different needs, but he is exploiting the different landforms at large scale with the result the misuse of landforms. Isn't it, children? Yes, increasing population is partly responsible for growing misuse of landforms. Then overgrazing, then overcultivation, industrialization, deforestation. These are the human activities which leads to what? Desertification. Clear, children? These leads to what? Increasing population, partly responsible for what? Growing misuse of landforms, then overgrazing, then overcultivation, industrialization, deforestation. These are the human activities that leads to desertification. Clear, children? Landforms are not only affected by the human activities, but they are also damaged by the human natural calamities like earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunami, floods, and so many things. Clear? They bring huge loss of life and property also. How to control such loss of life and property, children? Yes, we should not misuse the natural resources such as land and water. What we do first, we should not misuse the natural resources such as land and water. Then we should be fully aware about such natural calamities and take all mitigation measures so that only their bad effects could be lowered. Clear? Then we should not construct houses on the fertile lands. That is the main thing. Then we should not throw any garbages on land or in water that makes them dirty. Isn't it, children? We should not cut the tree unnecessarily, but we plant more and more trees. Clear, children? Landforms are the greatest gift of nature for the human beings, isn't it? We should not misuse them to fulfill our selfishness. Clear, children? These are the control measures to such of a loss of life and property. Okay, these are the steps, children. I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. We'll see in next video class. Thank you, students.